High-grade Universal Century Nemo. Hey, what's up again everybody, it's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, gundam.tk, and if you're a fan of Zeta Gundam and grunt suits in general, then hopefully you'll like this HGUC Nemo. I'm just gonna go with that for the pronunciation. So let's take a look at the individual parts now that it's all put together. With the empty plates leading to the body parts that you'd expect down there, weapons, shields, and just remember that you're going to be getting a lot of extra manipulators, 2 beam sabers there, and this is not going to be made out of very much plastic. The feet are going to kick things off on a pretty good note here, especially with that very bright green. If you're a fan of the non-UC colors, well, this kit is going to be for you. First of all, hips up there are going to be square, and you can just see the polycap there that's going to move, rotate around. And the bend mechanism there for the knee, you'll notice is going to go like this, 45, and then all the way down. So you're only going to be getting 90, which is somewhat disappointing. I'm going to go clean up my lining there a little bit. But you also get to see some of the pluses, like the fact that whatever they're going to be exposing a little bit of inner frame there through the plastic and adding an extra color wrap. I'm always a big fan of that. So the gray parts there that are going to be on either side are a plus. Down here for the actual parts, just some black lining around there, and you can guess that those seals are going to be adding most of the color down there, and that's also going to be applying there on the back as you've got large red seals going around all over the place. I went with some light lining here, but the ankle mechanism itself is actually going to be pretty cool. It looks good no matter what angle you look at it from, and it's going to be moving up high there. This part here shouldn't really be loose as it's just going to be detaching itself. But the ankle itself is going to move well side to side and front to back and look good to boot. The waist section, however, has to be one of the least exciting in all of Gundam. Non-independent front skirts there, again the white lining there. The side skirts are just going to have these little side indents that go into them. And on the back you are going to have the ability to stow 2 beam sabers there. You can do both in one way, but of course it's better to do it both one so you pull in one in and out. But if you omit this green part up there, you'd have absolutely no color whatsoever. But on the plus side, you are going to have the now almost standard swiveling hips. But things pick up thanks to the chest section there, although upon closer inspection, you might not be as impressed. First of all, it's always great whenever you're going to get these 4 colors here in short order. Basically, just replace the famous Gundam white with some green there, and you're going to be getting some great looking vents. These are some of the better vents I think I've ever seen here. How you ink them, of course, is going to make a big difference. But the disappointing part is going to be this one. It's large enough down here, and there's so much red to go on this kit in general. If you just take a look at the seals, yes, they're all going to be red back there. There would have been nice if they had actually put in some red plastic. This is large enough for a piece. Really, there's no excuse for something that you've then got to fold over 5 sides, and it's not going to be fitting on there all that well. The shoulders here are going to be popping out and popping forward, so hopefully getting a little bit better mobility. And on the back, you're going to have these pluses of gray parts being exposed and 2 cool sets of thrusters. And on the top, you're going to have another seal that's just going to wrap itself around the neck and add the impression of grayness. The arms are going to look pretty sharp, and the mechanisms are going to be all right here as well, as you've got this neat independent moving shoulder part there. And so because of that, you'll be able to move this all over the place there fairly independently, but you're not going to be able to rock this up more than, let's say, about 30 degrees. When you take a look at the blue pieces, they're going to be looking good, but if you take a look at this sticker sheet, you'll see that there are some leftover stickers there, and that's if this was the Gundam Unicorn version. You could go ahead and put on the seals, but the one that's painted up by a pro all around the package and on the manual is not going to have the seals attached to them. But they are going to have plenty of seals there on the inside for the thrusters. The gray and red are going to look really good, and it's another thing that could have been provided by a single red piece and then some black lining. This part over here is going to have a little bit of a movement range there, and we have a rotation point around there. But the elbow itself, again, disappointing. Similar to the knees, you're only going to be getting 90 degrees, and it's not going to look good. At least the knees have some cool piping in the back down there. You've got a shield attachment point and just some black lining. And if you take a look down at the bottom, you'd think that this would be a gray piece, but instead it's going to be seals down there around the manipulator. But on the plus side, 7 different manipulators there, from closed fists for each to dynamic hands for both left and right to go along with the regular weapon holders, are always going to be appreciated, especially with the cool color on the back. The beam rifle is going to look suitably gruntish over here, as it's actually got just a nice amount here in terms of balancing details and the amount of etching. If you wanted to go paint that up or line it even more, you could make it stand out, but I'm a fan of the overall shape, even though it is going to be pretty simple in its construction, and it is going to have this part here, which is going to move 180 degrees either side. The shield is going to be looking a little bit surfboardish here, but the yellow piece of plastic that's to go along with the vents is still going to be a big plus there. The white lining can add a little bit of accents to it, and you've got holes cut out there and a cool looking part up there at the top. But in terms of the actual mechanisms, you'll see that you've got these these raised parts here that can go, so you can also do a closed up shield like this, where you're going to see still the same holes there, but they're just going to be provided or displayed in a slightly different way down there. And for the actual attachment mechanism here, you'll see that you've got a range of swing there, and you can rotate this part around, and you can plug that into the actual arm itself, and if you want, you can also go and just swap these out for various attachment combination possibilities. But the beam sabers are going to be fun and definitely offset the size of the small beam rifle there, but the bright green is going to be looking good with just simple blue handles down there. You can go ahead and add, again, a little bit of lining if you choose, but nonetheless, I think these are actually going to get displayed fairly often. But the real star has to be on the front, where that clear orange piece is going to go over a very nice seal that's showing all sorts of activity and circuits and basically mechanical looking stuff underneath. And no matter what angle you look at it from, it's going to be bright and vivid there. So you're actually going to see that, and it's going to look good no matter where it is on your shelf, with no matter what kind of lighting you've got. But up on the top, it's going to be unfortunate that it is a seal there, and you're supposed to be putting it over a relatively rounded, somewhat rectangular surface there. And unfortunately, it's going to look pretty so-so whenever you look at that. You are going to be able to choose, though, if you want to go ahead and put on a red one, you can do that as well, or stick with the more traditional yellow to match the shield and the vents. A bit of a mixed bag here with the parts, with so-so mobility and a definite over-reliance on seals, but otherwise a solid color scheme, and the pluses like how good that orange on the head is going to be looking, and the weapons, even though they're going to be unspectacular, definitely come across as being solid, and the play options inherent in the shield should be pretty fun. Anyway, everybody, of course, it's not the parts that make the MS, so stick around for the next part to see it all put together, and please let me know what you think of this with a comment down below. Would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that you met Captain Nemo, too.